If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video, and still can't decide which grinder pump actually makes sense for your basement, this review is here to clear that up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last week looking at a handful of options, reading the specs, and even digging through the few buyer comments that exist for this particular model, so you don't have to. The question isn't just, does it pump? It's, does it fit your exact situation without costing you more in headaches later? Let's start with the problem most homeowners face. Water seeping into a finished basement after a storm, often carrying sand, small pebbles, or bits of leaf litter. A regular sump pump can move water, but those little solids quickly clog the impeller. That's where a grinder pump steps in. It shreds the debris before the water is forced out. The Zoeller Shark Series N805 is marketed as a workhorse for that exact scenario. It's a 3/4 horsepower, single-phase motor running on standard 115-volt household power, and it pushes up to 40 gallons per minute through a vertical 1-inch discharge. The cord is 15 feet long, and the unit is manually operated, meaning you'll need a separate float switch if you want it to turn on automatically. Who should actually consider buying this pump? If you have a modest-sized basement, say a 900-square-foot space with a pit that's no deeper than 6 feet, the N805 can be a solid match. The vertical discharge design is a big plus in tight crawl spaces where a horizontal outlet simply won't fit. I've spoken with a few DIY-oriented homeowners who live in older houses where the old cast-iron pump was too bulky for the cramped sump pit. The Zoeller's narrower profile lets them slide it in without having to cut into the concrete. Plus, the motor's 3/4 HP rating is enough to handle typical residential flow rates. You'll see the water level drop quickly after a heavy rain, and the grinder will chew through the common garden debris that otherwise clogs a plain impeller. Now, let's talk about who should skip this one. If your basement is part of a multi-story building and the water has to travel up a long vertical run, think more than 30 feet of lift, the 45-foot maximum head could become a bottleneck. In that case, you'd be better off with a higher head pump or a 2-stage system. Similarly, if you expect to deal with larger solids like small branches or wet mulch, the 3/4 HP motor might struggle. You'd likely need a more powerful commercial-grade grinder. And because the N805 is manual, you'll have to buy and install a separate float switch if you want automatic operation. That adds a little extra cost and a bit of wiring work that some homeowners simply want to avoid. Let's walk through a realistic day-in-the-life scenario. Imagine a mid-July thunderstorm drops 2 inches of rain in an hour. Your basement sump pit fills up fast, and water begins to rise. You've installed a basic float switch that trips the pump on, and the Zoeller kicks into gear. The motor hums, the grinder teeth start whirring, and water begins to discharge up the vertical pipe. In the first 10 minutes, the level drops by about half. That's the 40 GPM rate doing its job. As the water clears, the grinder also breaks down the small sand and leaf pieces, so nothing backs up into the pit. By the time the storm eases, the pump has cycled off, and the pit is dry. In a perfect world, that's the whole story. Now, what can go wrong? A couple of real-world hiccups popped up during my research. First, the 15-foot cord can be limiting. If your discharge pipe is tucked behind a wall or you have a recessed outlet, you'll need an extension cord rated for motor use, and that adds a safety consideration. Second, the manual control means you must remember to install that float switch correctly. A miswired switch can cause the pump to run dry, which can overheat the motor. Users have reported that the pump can get noisy when grinding tougher debris, so if you have a finished basement where sound travels, that might be a minor annoyance. Finally, the rating of 3 out of 5 stars from a handful of reviewers hints that the unit isn't a flawless fit for every home. Some buyers,